Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods, and today we are finally going to do a blower door score. So I've got to hurry up. A guy's coming over right now. I've got to still foam the windows up. I wasn't expecting it to be that fast, and he's coming over early. And we just put these things in like 2 days ago, and we were able to get an appointment, have them come over, and he's coming over early. So we need to spray foam those. Hopefully they harden up by the time he gets here. And then I'll tell you a little bit about more what the plan is and what we're going to do once we're on the inside. Hey everybody, coming at you from the future. While you're gonna see the blower door results here in a little bit, at the end of the video, I say I'm probably not gonna pay for another one of these tests. I'm happy with the results. It took about, 35 seconds for my OCD to kick in and for me to remember some other issues that could be a potential leak point, which they are going to be a leak point. So we probably are gonna pay another one of these tests when the house is completely done. And one thing that I forgot to wrap up was the 4-inch hole down there where our laundry is currently kicking out. That vent and that discharge is going up and connecting to all of the vents. And one of the vents in the kitchen, I did not close off. So you got about an 1.5-inch hole where there's no water going down into the P-trap. So that would have been a leak point. And our water lines here, while I did go ahead and silicone out here, we did not spray foam on the inside. So every one of these could be a potential leak point. But again, any one of the inside sewage lines that's not completely closed off and there's no water in the P-traps, that 4-inch hole right there could have sucked up all the air through the inside of the house. That would have been a leak point. So we will get the house completely done. We will tape and mud everything. We'll make sure all the doors and windows are 100% latched and everything. But the results can be better, and we only have to pay for another test because it's just stupid things like that I basically just forgot to close up, and it's not going to cost us any money. But back to the video for you guys to see what the score actually is. All right, so like I said, I still have to spray foam the windows and the doors. It should only take a minute. He's on his way right now. He said he'd be here in about a half hour. The game plan is we're gonna do the blower door score on the garage door because that's a normal size door. It'll be easy for him to close it up. And basically I wanna see what the performance of the house looks like. So we wanna test the performance of the front door and obviously the rear sliding glass door. And we don't wanna put the blower in either one of those doors because then obviously that would delete telling us if there's a leak basically in the front door. Now we're gonna do 2 different tests here. He said the whole thing only takes about a half hour or so, but or actually less than that really. It's actually pretty instant. Once the fan's turned on, it'll already start to show you what the test numbers are. But I wanna see what the house looks like for how structurally integrity like the house is, basically with everything sealed up. So we've got to seal the bathroom ceiling fan in the half bath, the one in the master. We got to go outside and close the HRV vents. We got to seal the sump pump hole because even though if you didn't think about it, the sump pump hole, if there's not water in that 6-inch pipe or down in the sump pump, then air can leak through the 6-inch pipe, go up into the French drain, and then over in that back corner there, we have a clean out. So all of that is directly linked to bring air in and out of the house. So that's got to be closed up. Outside on that clean out, I still have to hack it down and glue the clean out lid still on, but then there's some holes because we use the perforated holes that we use for the entire French drain. That's not a solid pipe. So even if I tape the holes up above the surface, the ones like 6 inches down below the stone and then another 6 and another 6, those could still leak air. So that's always going to be basically a leak point unless I were to have used solid pipe there and we got down below the ground low enough. But again, I think what we're going to do, at least for today, we'll seal the sump pump hole down in here so air's not moving in and out. And later in the future, if we've got radon, they'll usually completely seal and close up a sump pump hole so the radon gas can't get up and through there. So that may be sealed up one day. But I want to see, again, the integrity of the house and how good it is. And then, of course, I will go and remove the tape off of the fan, off of the HRV. And then, technically speaking, I should even tape that guy up right there, even though it does have a lid on it right now. Seal that up a little bit better. But that, again, is going to be one day that's going to be an air leak, because even though you've got the fans in there with flapper valves and stuff, those flapper valves are never going to seal 100%. So it is going to be a leak point in your house. But again, I just want to see how good the house is with everything, every penetration point completely sealed up. And then we'll go ahead and remove and see what we got that we're dealing with. But again, I got to get off camera real quick. I got to seal these up. I got to tape all those up. And then he's going to be here probably any minute. And then we will give you the 2 blower door scores, and we'll see how good we did on sealing the house up.
380 CFM.
That's the calculation that you have to use?
That's the raw number. I'm getting 0.57 air change.
So without even sealing anything up.
Yeah.
Or, well, I mean, that's going to be a spot when we open that up for obviously the oven. And then obviously the flapper valve's not going to be that great, but that will have to be open because it's not going to be sealed 24/7. And then that bathroom fan, and then that sump pump is a 6-inch clean out that goes 6 inches all the way around the perimeter. But then back there, there's a 6-inch hole for a clean out. Yeah. So I poured water in there to basically block the pipe, because if that pipe doesn't have water in it,
yeah,
it's going to go straight to the outside. Okay. I mean, I could adjust the sump pump to the floater to raise it up, so that way it's always closed off. But if I were to dump that water out right now, you'll probably see both those numbers probably skyrocket, I would imagine.
I mean, probably 120 CFM, I think, is what will increase.
Okay.
So do you have ventilation then in here?
Yes, that HRV, which I just taped them up outside, but when it's off, again, they should have flapper valves in them too, which are off, but they probably air leak also.
Do you have anything else besides the HRV?
The mini splits will go in one day, but they wouldn't have anything because they only sit on the inside. The only thing that runs through the wall is the Freon lines and the electricity. Yeah, and they're going to be spray foamed once they go through the conduit. Yeah,
you got to install those yourself? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So my only warning is, just based on experience, is your house will pick up humidity. Just naturally. We've got
two dehumidifiers. That one runs into the sump. That one's just been sitting there. But once we're done, before I actually purchase like a whole house, I would like to see with two condenser units on 3 AC heads. So 3 mini split heads will be in here.
Okay.
Obviously AC does pull humidity, but it's not like, a real dehumidifier.
Well, and I actually use mini splits in my home, and they have a dehumidify mode. At least mine do.
Does it work like a dehumidifier, or do you still think you need another one? Because
it definitely pulls humidity out, but it does cool also.
Right now we're at 56%.
Okay.
And while there's a smiley face on there, you want to be at like 40 or below, maybe?
50 in the summer, 40 in the winter.
Okay, so we're almost right there. These guys are off right now. And they're set to 55.
Yeah.
So we're exactly where we are targeting.
Yeah.
The only reason why I don't have those set lower is because that one I think is malfunctioning. The heater coil is broken, or the sensor. Oh. So it just completely frosts up.
Yeah.
If I go below 55. But if I could set these guys to 40, 45, they would work. But you don't want that sitting in your living room. It's loud and annoying.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't go below 45 in the summer. But the first year will probably be the most, because your slab gives off some humidity for about a year.
Well, this house has been sitting like this for 3 years now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. The only reason why I'm calling you guys now, I just got 5 guys over here to put in that window, that door, and the exact same window in the master bedroom. So we were sitting with this stuff just sitting in a hole with
the
some foam board on the outside screwed to the bucks so that way it wouldn't fall out. That's how we were insulated, but I wasn't gonna do a blower door score because every one of those windows would have leaked.
And those windows are heavy.
Yeah, that was about 3 something, 4 something, and 3 something. So we needed all 5 guys just to get them up and get them into those holes. So now that's why I called you guys.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, no, this is really good. I mean, you did what you set out to do.
So right now, would you say a 0.57?
0.57, yeah.
You want me to like remove the tape on how we would be naturally living and see what we drop to?
Yep.
Okay. That's not bad, a 0.57 without trying. Yay, ICF.
Yeah, probably, Scott, if you...
I just felt wind hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Removing that, so that flapper valve. Although, wait, we're sucking the air out of the house, right?
Yeah, so we should be closing it.
We're closing the flapper valves more than.
Yeah.
Like we're sucking them closed.
Yeah, as much as it will. So if it doesn't have a seal on it, you'd feel just plastic.
They do, but they're, you know, as hard as you can suck it against it.
You feel air around the door?
No, but I locked it because it, with that deadbolt shut, it makes a little bit tighter of a seal.
Yeah.
So 0.57 with everything taped up, which is cheating. Now with the fans open back up and the HRV open back up, I did not take the water out of the hole yet. We could even adjust the flapper valve or the float bowl down in the sump pump so that water constantly stays above the 6-inch pipe. So that way air is not coming in from the outside. But we basically just opened up a 6-inch hole, a 4-inch hole, and 2 more 6-inch holes. So if those flapper valves aren't airtight, then that 0.57 should jump up quite a bit. And just to make sure to look down on the sump pump again. See, as long as we got the green pipe covered up with water, then there's no way air can get in from the clean out through the French drain and then up through the sump pump hole. And that's how basically we should have it.
So the 2 fans increased it by 90.
The bathroom fan over there is a 6-inch hole. The 2 HRVs are a 6-inch hole, so times 2, so that's 3. And then that's a 4-inch hole. And then the sump pump, I still have the water cleaned up because I probably should just adjust that float bowl so it's always above the water line of the pipe. So what's that bring it? 90 CFM, what does that go to air exchange? I only know that number.
That's right. So we got 4, 480. So 0.72.
Oh, so barely much at all. So we're still under a 1. That's awesome. Yeah, hopefully that'll keep our energy bills down. That was the goal with ICF.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, for sure. And at this rate, I mean, you're basically a passive house, standard. And what they say is...
The only thing that sucks is the manufacturer of the windows even talked us out of going passive windows in Ohio. They're like, no one does that. Why would you want to spend the money? So I think you had to be under like a point, or the U factor had to be like I want to say a 0.15 or something. And we're at a 0.17. I mean, we were almost there, but to get it, we would have had to have gone to a triple pane. Yeah. They said that the price would have gone up like $1,000 per window. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. So I can't be classified as a passive house due to the window U factor, but it's pretty close.
I don't think you want to go through that because it would have been a big process to go through it.
Yeah, and I don't care. This is just me and my wife till we die. So
just the process is like $3,000 just to pay someone to certify you.
Yeah, I'm good with that then.
So yeah, 0.7. I didn't know gel-wet made a window this low because I always see the builder grade gel-wets at 0.30.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. That's the other thing that I liked about these windows. And with your test right now, since even when the wind blows, since these are all casement, when the wind blows or you're sucking, you're literally closing all of these instead of having that gap where a double hang can separate in that middle, causing more leakage.
Yeah. Casements are definitely the way to go. I'll tell you, I do all the homes for 3 pillars. And they usually come in at about a 2.2 air change, just like standard build. They did one house that was built modern style, so they did all closed, closed style. And that house, I think just because the windows was at 1.6. And they normally do a double hung.
That sucks though, to never have a window open?
Well, they had like one or two throughout the house, but that was about it. But they, double hungs are horrible. I mean, if you want to do anything, that's the first thing to do, is get a casement.
Yeah, and then I don't know if the U factor, I think, stepped up a little bit. I think we did actually pay maybe an extra $400 or $500 per window. I guess the glass is slightly thicker. It's an upgraded glass, so that's probably why that U factor dropped to that 0.7, because it's not your typical gelled one. That was the other thing that he talked us out of triple pane. He says if you put triple pane on yours, it's almost like putting like tint film on your window. And I'm like, dude, we live in the middle of the woods. No light will come through. We can't do that. It will just look like crap in here. So he goes, then do the double pane, do the thicker, and don't worry about passive. And then, like he said, he's like, it's a 0.17. It's a good window. Stop there. And I was like, okay.
What gas is in there then? Is it different gas?
No, I think we paid for the standard, which I think is just argon.
Argon.
I think there was a more expensive gas to purchase, but we didn't want it. Or no, these are a 0.24. The solar heat gain's a 0.17. Yeah. So I think passive is a 0.15, but we're at a 0.24. So these are pretty high up over your passive windows, but I wasn't paying that price, like I said. So
well, I guess
it'll work.
Most I see is 0.30, but
yeah.
I mean, still you're not gonna lose a lot to the windows.
No.
Because they are leaking. So. Yeah.
Well, this winter was bad. We had the insulation in the roof or in the ceiling. We had the heated floor on. We did not have the dehumidifiers running. And when it hit that -40 wind chill, when it was -8, all the windows were frosting. So now that we have the HRV turned on, now that we have the HRV up and running, it has a dehumidifier setting on it in the winter where you can play with that to get that frost to come down. Because I was like, what the hell? We just paid for all these windows and everything was so sealed. And I've got like ice, literally thickness building up. But I'm like, it's also -40. I don't know if you're ever going to stop that, but...
That was on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the result of a tight house.
Okay. So we needed something to be on and running to help with that.
Yeah.
And we had nothing.
Yeah. So in that case, what I would do is turn the fan on your mini splits.
Okay. Yeah, and the HRV. You've got a...
And the HRV, what's your top speed on the HRV?
Fan speed 1 to 5, but I don't know how fast it'll go. But when you're below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, this thing will turn on and can do humidity, or you can hit the humidity setting and actually target like say 40% if you wanted it, and it'll run more often than not. But there's settings on there for winter for that exact reason, and we didn't have it up and running, so that's probably why we saw the problem.
What brand is that?
Oh, Life Breath from Canada.
So you guys all the good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's the biggest one that we could find for this cubic volume that has 6-inch ducts. And we had to use a 6-inch duct because in the basement with our floor joists, we didn't want to have any bulkheads. So we had to drill through every single floor joist. And if we would have went an 8-inch, it wouldn't have worked. So we had to go down to that 6-inch, and that's a 267 CFM. It's the biggest residential they made.
Okay.
So if I fire it up, I don't know how fast, like you asked for the fan speed, but if it's at this 5 right here, I mean,
yeah,
it can push almost 267 max, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you probably only need that, like you say, when it's real cold outside.
And since we're not living in it, we've got it set to just a 10 minutes on, 50 minutes off, just so it doesn't get some of this stuff out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And just to ask you, do you smell any food in here right now? When you walked in?
I did a little bit, yeah.
Okay, last night I was cooking jerky, or I was dehumidifying jerky, but that thing's, again, been running 1050.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's lower than, if that's running, you're going to smell it. but that's been off for probably 7-8 hours now, and it's taken the smell down.
The only other disadvantage I've heard of real tight homes is your odors can stick around a while.
And that has an odor setting basically. If you've got it set to like this 10 on, 50 off, or 20 on, 40 off, this mode right here, the 20, 40, 60, it's just a timer. Okay. You can click that on to like 60 minutes and it will continuously run for 60 minutes and then go back to its normal setting. Oh, okay. And that would be like, I cooked a stinky dinner, kick this thing on for an hour and get it out of here.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Really neat.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like you say, you guys are set.
Cool. And then I just give something to the county. You said there's like a printout thing to.
Yeah, I'm working on it now. So I'll print out now, and then do you want a digital copy too?
Sure. All right, guys, what do you say? I'm happy. I can't remember what the number was again off the top of my head. Like I said, with everything sealed up, we were like a 0.5 something. That is freaking awesome. I know there are some builders out there that they're usually around like a 0.4. I think Build with Code, spelled with a K, I think, on YouTube. He says his buildings usually get around like a 0.45, but they go really above and beyond. Like they put a vapor barrier up on their ceiling, nailed to the trusses, and then they tape everything, and then they put their drywall up. So we probably have a little bit of leakage up in the ceiling right now. But like I said, I'm not too worried about it. Once we tape and we mud and we put our ceiling paint, which should be kind of like an approved vapor retarder type of paint that goes on the ceiling, that should pretty much take care of every one of those holes. But yeah, with us living in the house a 0.73, and again, we still have drywall and tape and mud and paint and everything to do, that number will probably drop a little bit. And then unfortunately, I did notice going through the house, I think there were 2 windows I found that the latch was not locked. So that obviously when you push that latch shut, it does suck the window in ever so slightly more against the weather seal. But because they're casement windows, with the test running, it should have sucked those windows shut more hard. So that may be a little bit of a factor that the latches weren't locked, but maybe not, because again, they were getting sucked shut. And then I can't remember, I think the front door might have been open too. Not open, but the deadbolt was not latched. And I made that deadbolt very, very tight, where you almost have to put your shoulder into a little bit and then you turn the deadbolt, because I'm pushing that door against the weather seal a little bit. And during the test, the door was only just shut. And that actually would have been a leak point because the door opens up. So without the deadbolt, we were actually pulling the door a little bit more open and creating a gap in that weather seal maybe. So do I think it would have been a lot? No, we might have got down into like the 0.6s instead of a 0.73. But nothing for me to care about or pay another. That was going to be $325. I'm not going to pay another $325 for that, but I think that was more than enough that this house, we know that when we live in it and everything is locked and closed, it's going to basically be bulletproof, on that we're not going to be spending a lot on heating and cooling because of how airtight it is. And again, that was with the HRV turned off, but all of the flapper valves were basically just closed. So we should be more than enough that's going to be freaking awesome. So I'm super stoked that that's the number that we got down to. Again, without even really trying. People out there may say, no, you tried. You did a little bit more above and beyond than what you had to, and you spent more time and money, but it didn't feel like that in my case. So that's what we got, guys. So just a short little video here for you guys. If you guys are building an ICF house and you do exactly what I did with your cans of spray foam and stuff like that, and just again, overall, you're just building an ICF house, you're gonna have well under a 1 HCH 50, and your house is gonna be super efficient. So awesome for you and awesome for us. So I'm gonna wrap this one up here, guys. I gotta head to work now, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If you guys got anything to say, message us or comment down below. Hit us up on NeckofTheWoods 2020 on Instagram, and we'll see you guys next time for the next video. Till then, take care.